CA Hoops Weekly presented by Under Armour. I'm Bobby Broyles along with Rob Washburn here on semifinal Sunday of the 2016 CA Men's Basketball Championship. And Rob, there was already so many similarities coming into today with the exact games and matchups from last year's semifinals, but different outcomes. Let's go to the first one as William & Mary falls to Hofstra. Hofstra was able to hold on late.
Yeah, we talked about last year's semifinal game between William & Mary and Hofstra, one of the greatest games in CA tournament history, which the Tribe won in double overtime on Daniel Dixon's three-pointer from the corner. And I'm not sure that this game was as beautiful as far as the number of shots that went in and the shots back and forth, but the intensity was certainly there from the very start. And these two teams really got after it, gave us a great game. It was interesting in the fact that neither team's stars really stood out in this game. William & Mary's plan obviously was to take away Hofstra's two all-conference performers in Wanye Green and Rokas Gustis. They were pretty effective in doing that. Gustis with only one field goal all day, and Wanye came through late but had not had a big game offensively to that point. But neither team led by more than 6 points. One thing that was also interesting is that some guys that we haven't talked a lot about in this tournament came up big. For William & Mary, it was Greg Malinowski, 5 3-pointers and 22 points. And for Hofstra, Amin Tanksley with a huge day, 23 points and 7 rebounds. But in the end, in the final possession, Hofstra is able to get the ball down to Denton Kuhn. He hits a key layup with 8.5 seconds to go, and Hofstra advances to the championship game for the first time since 2006.
And congratulations to Hofstra Pride, and also congratulations. You know, we always forget about some of the seniors playing in their last game. A guy like Terry Tarpey, possibly playing in his last game here, 2-time CA Defensive Player of the Year.
What a career Terry Tarpey has had at William & Mary, and when you talk about Terry Tarpey, I think the thing that I'll most remember about him is I don't think we've seen a guy in recent memory that fills the stat sheet in so many categories. And if you look at his box score, you might only see 8 points or 7 points, but it's the rebounds, it's the steals, it's the block shots, the assists. What a great career he had along with Sean Sheldon.
Indeed. And as for Hofstra, they advance to the championship game, and they will take on the number 2 seed UNCW Seahawks, who had a scary ending against Northeastern there, but they were able to hold on for the victory.
Yeah, this game was a lot like last night for UNCW. I thought the game was very tight throughout the whole first half, and then in the second half, UNCW came out with a lot of energy, especially on the defensive end, got the lead up to as many as 14 points. A lot of it is same as last night, where they were able to make some shots. Chris Flemings in particular hit some three-pointers, got them going. That allowed UNCW to turn the pressure up, and they built the lead to 14. But as you said, it looks like they have the game in control, and then Northeastern showed why they're defending champions. They were not going to go out easily. They cut a lead that was 10 points with about a minute to go, all the way to 1 in the final seconds. But UNCW is able to, Chris Flemings is able to deflect, pass away in the final seconds, and UNCW advances to the championship game for the first time since 2006 as well.
Yep, and just like we talked about with William & Mary seniors, Quincy Ford and David Walker for Northeastern. I mean, what can you say about those two guys? They brought a CA championship to the Huskies last year.
What a tremendous career for both of them, both over 1,600 points, as you said. Took them to the NCAA tournament, to their first CA championship a year ago. Guys that contribute in so many different ways and will be sorely missed. It was a pleasure being able to watch them in their careers at Northeastern.
But also congratulations to the Seahawks as they will take on Hofstra. And as we take a look at this game a little bit here, Rob, I mean, these two teams, they came in as the number 1 and number 2 seed, but these wins today were for the confidence factor for both of them, having to knock off William & Mary, Northeastern. William & Mary, of course, being in the last 2 CA championship games, Northeastern being the defending champions. They both proved that they should be in this championship game today, and it should be which sets up for a very exciting championship Monday.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point. They both have earned their trip here. They both beat 2 quality opponents here today. And look, they were the 2 regular season champions. So over the course of 18 games in the regular season, they're the teams that finished tied for first, and they get a chance to settle it tomorrow night. They had 2 unbelievably interesting games in the in the regular season. UNCW went to Hofstra, got down 20 in the first half, and came back and won the game on Denzel Ingram's three-pointer right in the final seconds. And then with UNCW having a chance to take sole possession of the regular season title a couple of weeks ago, Hofstra goes to Trask Coliseum. Tough place to win, falls behind by 18, and comes storming back and takes a victory there. So here we got the rubber match for the CA championship and an NCAA tournament.
And yes, indeed, and that game will be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on the NBC Sports Network and NBC Sports Live Extra. Make sure to tune in. And as for CA Hoops Weekly, me and Rob will be back here tomorrow night to recap all the action, as we'll be cutting down the nets and getting ready to head on over to the Showplace Arena for the women's tournament next week.